I love Kate Bishop in the Hawkeye show, and now I love the card. A 2/3 that puts 2 arrows out of an available 4 in your hand, and they all just do different stuff. One shoots to the other side, one can pull one of your cards, another is essentially just Hawkeye, and the last one is essentially Ant-Man. But I'm involved, and I'm in love with the variants this season. They're so colorful, which usually are the favorites in this game for me. But I'm gonna stop yapping. At the start of every season, I like to try to make as many decks with a new card as possible to find my favorite, and here are the 3 favorites that I played. So the first deck is a bit of a classic, but it's a classic bounce deck. We drop Rocket, Hawkeye, and Kate Bishop arrows, and we bounce them back to our hand. You can also bounce the Sage, the Cast Nova, and juice it all up with Gwenpool. Then we have Hitmonkey, Black Swan, Mysterio, and they all work as this nice package for a big last turn play. I just be careful because there's a lot of Sandman decks everyone's playing. But yeah, there's not much more to it. I just love it because I get to play a deck with Hawkeye and Kate Bishop, the other Hawkeye, so it was too perfect. Some quick alternatives for the Series 4 or 5 cards. Nico could be subbed out with Iceman or Ham. Sage, you could grab Bishop, and Gwenpool, you could add something maybe like Coal Obsidian or another big 4-drop. We start off the game, and right off the bat, we know they're Arishem. So we're gonna drop Kate into the Quantum Realm, and you know what I'm doing from here already. I'm dropping Cast Nova onto the Cloning Vat. Then I'm going to drop another on the Cloning Vat, but we're gonna pull it over with Kate's grapple arrow and move it over to Blackstone, which is huge because if they have a Shadow King or a Shang-Chi, we completely just dodge that. But I am getting a little afraid of the Wong Mystique combo they got going on the left, so I'm just dropping everything in case it's like Gambit or something, but they end up playing Cersei. And while it's cool to see a card evolve from a 4-cost Wong into an 8-cost Death, they have to end up retreating. And while we didn't need Kate to win that game, it still showed huge value, especially if they did have that Shang-Chi or Shadow King. But if you want to see the funny Hitmonkey combo, here's gonna be what it looks like. And yeah, they had a Hitmonkey deck too, and I went too hard in Wakanda, but still, you get the idea. The next deck I have is a bit of a homebrew, and of course, it's a Loki deck. Actually, this is the first Loki deck I put in a video, but it's my favorite Kate Bishop deck that I played, and I have Mockingbird, Sasquatch, and the Mysterio package, which lets you play these cards discounted, so watch out for those Mobiuses. Then, along with that, I have Kitty Pryde, Angela, Hope Summers, and all of them gel really well together, and you can get a lot of energy from Hope Summers and a decent amount of power off your Angela. And I feel this works really well with Loki, since generally you have more cards in your hand when you're playing Loki, so that extra energy really lets you play them all. That's another reason I love Kate in this deck. Acid Arrow is good in general, but the Pym Arrow is pretty much guaranteed 4 power in this deck. Plus, Kitty can activate the basic arrow. Some things that are different than most of the Loki Kate decks are, instead of a Nocturne or Cast Nova, I have Polaris. Right now, a ton of decks are playing 1-drops, and moving these over to lock lanes just feels really good. You can also move their Athena. I like Hull in this deck because it's easy power and you pretty much are guaranteed to get them off between Kitty, the arrows, or Echo. And speaking of Echo, this is my tech just for the ongoing decks. I swear it sounds random, but it fits the deck so well and it's won me many games. But I wouldn't sub too many cards in this deck if I'm gonna be honest, but you could sub the Cole Obsidian out if you don't have him for something like Crossbones or Gladiator. So we start off with an epic game where I drop Mysterio and he is into the Space Throne. So we lose that, on to the next game. And yeah, this is a real game. We start with Kate and then we get a grapple arrow and we're able to use this to move Angela into Luke's bar. And then we drop all of our cards. So if we draw Sasquatch, he costs 1. And sadly we don't, but I see he has an Onslaught down. And this is the reason I have Echo. We drop Cole down and we pull Echo into the lane. Iron Lad then pulls Iron Man and it's rejected. But yeah, he's out of here, and this is one of the reasons this deck is so fun. I will say a lot of these games I just win through Loki. I still think he's a pretty good card. So hopefully this was a good game to use as a Kate Bishop showcase game. Okay, last deck, and although I had the biggest cube gains with the Loki deck, this deck is the highest skill and has the highest 8 cube potential. You have Kate in a move bounce deck. Iron Fist, Ghost Spider, Nico or Kate's arrow can move the torch, vulture, or dagger to get big power. And you can cycle through these cards by bouncing them back into your hand with Beast or Falcon. But the game stealers in this deck are Doctor Strange, Shadow King, and Juggernaut. It makes it really hard to predict when moving around your big Human Torch or your big dagger with your Doctor Strange. And Strange also lets you move them out of the way of your own Shadow King so you can hit their Angela, their Kitty, or anything they're boosting up with perhaps Marvel Boy. And then lastly, Jug. Jug can just win lanes by himself. It's amazing. You go super high with maybe a dagger or a vulture in one lane, and then Juggernaut can knock him out of another to win the game. But here's the gameplay. I hope you enjoy. We start the game pretty simple. We Iron Fist into Human Torch and then pull him back again with Ghost Spider to once again double his power. Turn 3, we play Falcon and he lets us play 3-card pickup, but they drop a Super Giant, which is kind of rough for this deck. And to add to all the craziness, Westview transforms into Nexus and Mirror Dimension also transforms into the Nexus. And here we are, dropping a Vulture for 3 power. And you know what? He blobs, which kind of gets him back into the game after I move my torch around a lot and play Kate Bishop. And going into the last turn, this is the craziest last turn I've played so far this season. If you made it this far in the video, I want to give you a big thanks. Really helps with the algorithm and all that. But I love Kate Bishop. I don't even know how meta she's going to be, but I'll be playing her because of how flexible and versatile the card is. Also, I just love the character. I saw this figure when looking for thumbnail images, and I'm gonna be honest, I might buy it, and I'm not even a figure guy. But you know what? That's all. I appreciate it. See you in the next video. Bye.